Alright, so here we are, assembled one side, just to show you what the finished product should look like. I'm going to show you kind of on a quick review of how these should need to be assembled, but it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're taking off your stock suspension, just make sure you note how it is originally assembled. You pretty much put it exactly back on together. I'm using all new hardware, so just had to take a little bit of reference on real OEM to see how it is assembled, but this is what it should look like at the end. Just make sure you follow the owner's manual, the instructions that come with any coilover kit. Otherwise, your torque specs should be minimal. Don't over tighten the top nuts. They are self-locking with nylon inserts, and yeah, good luck. Alright, so for the strut assembly, stand your strut up like this on a flat surface. Take the screw, take the nut off. Comes with the strut. Compress the spring with proper McPherson strut compressors. Find it at your parts store. 19mm. Place the heavy ass spring on the strut. Alright. Just make sure you don't drop it. Got your brand new hardware. Spring perch. Rubber thing. Put the rubber thing onto the spring perch. Everything matches up. You see? Put your rubber thing onto your spring perch. Yours will probably look like this already. I just got new ones. Place the spring perch on like that. Just remember that little indent on the spring perch needs to match the spring. Right now it's a little awkward, but trust me, you'll figure out a way to finagle it in there. You see? Take your flat washer. Now this you should definitely get new every time you switch your suspension. Strut mount. Place strut mount. Place lock nut. Where is it? Yeah, in there. And torque to spec compressors counterclockwise. There you have it. Made. You got your springs all aligned very well at the stops here. Your mounts look like the threads are equally good and tighted. Next, the shock. We're gonna do the shock. I'm going to start by removing the loosely fitted lock nut provided by Bilstein. We're going to take the bump stop and dust cover and put it on. Excuse the angle. Got to use both hands for this. Find the hole, press it down until it stops. You'll see that the bump stop stops. First step, flat washer. Second step, weird shaped bump stop cover thing. I can't show it on, there it is. Then, bigger looking bump stop cover thing. Then another flat washer. Then your shock mount. I'm using Rogue Engineering's rear shock mounts, but pick your poison. Alright. And then, I don't know if this is right, but another washer. A lot of damn washers. And then, bolt. definitely the top washer makes sense. Or I'm sorry, nut, the lock nut. All right, so now we tighten. Let me show you how. To fit this lock nut, you need two tools. There's an Allen hole right there, and then a 17mm nut. So hardware store, pick up for yourself a open-ended, see there's a hole there, ratchet. Put on a torque wrench, a number 5 Allen wrench, and let me show you. First, take your 17mm open-ended, put that right there, ready to tighten. Okay, take your super long Allen, stick it in here to get a grip, and begin tightening. Now it says on the instructions a series of torque specs going all the way from 10 foot-pounds to like 83 foot-pounds and it says it depends on the thread. This is the smaller one, so I'm gonna say try to go for like maybe, I don't know, don't trust me on my torque, just say good and tight. It should feel pretty tight, you know, like not the moment you start to feel like some effort, just remember just like the time when you were putting your wheel bolts on, and do it like a 20% of that energy, and just that's good and tight right there. So later you'll notice in my review I'll tell you if I feel any noises or anything like that, but you can count how many threads are showing there. 3 full threads. The fourth one kind of surfacing. I've made it like that on both of my shocks, and if you remember, also on my struts. Now let's talk about ride height. You see that little pen mark or Sharpie mark there? I've lined that up with this hole right here, and it's hard for you to see, but I did draw with a Sharpie a shiny little piece right here on the bottom of that circle to line it up from the bottom. So I close it all the way, and then like that. And then as you see, the circles line up when it's very tight, and then you just pass that circle 5 times, and you pick your poison again, but I'm gonna just do 5 times to say, all right, that's kind of the middle point, and I'll go up or down and adjust as I see fit. Same deal for the struts. When you look at these, there are 2 interlocking things there. Generally, you would start off at the bottom. If you notice, Bilstein sent it to you at the bottom, and you would pretty much loosen those up, slide this top piece up first, and then have this one come up with it to meet it and lock it in place. That will lower your car. Now I'm gonna start all the way up here, but just remember when I said on the rear I did 5 turns. I'm gonna say that maybe the Germans who made this, or I'm gonna say that the people who made this considered the number of turns. I might be wrong, but let's try it anyway. For installation, the only direction you need to know is left and right, L and R. L is the driver's side, right is the passenger side. It's referring to directions as if you're sitting in the car, your left and your right. A special note on when you're putting the shock mounts onto the shock. I had previously mentioned that you want to do good and tight on the top for the shock mounts. I would say pay attention to the rubber bushing in between your lock nut and the mount itself, and make sure you're not giving it too much flex. But again, follow instructions and look on other YouTube videos. Alright, so I was going to end the video with just the assembly of the struts and shocks. But for your benefit, I'm just going to go over a quick review of how I'm going to put these on the car. Disassembly or removal and reinstallation is covered significantly on YouTube. So I encourage you to go on to like Shop Life TV or 50s Kid or even a variety of YouTubers. They have a lot of coverage on this. So, but for your benefit, here we go. So what I did first, I loosened the bottom here, and I put it all the way down. I put it to as far down as it would go. Then I brought the top one down as well. That way, it is now at the tallest spring setting. And I had mentioned before that I'm gonna use, I want the front to be lower than the rears. And so I brought this up 5 spins versus the 4 in the back. So what you do is you use your wrench, mark where your center point is. What I do is I took some receipt paper, like rolled it up, and I stuck it in there because I don't have any white marker. But and then you just pass your mark 5 times, and then you bring the bottom one up to meet it, and then you tighten it. As you can see, that's one of the receipt papers I rolled up in there. But whatever which way you want to do it, but just a little bit of help if anything. Alright, so for installation, the only direction you need to know is left and right, L and R. L is the driver's side, right is the passenger side. It's referring to directions as if you're sitting in the car, your left and your right. Alright, so this is the completed installation. See the strut right here? That is the sway bar end link. I didn't receive my adjustable end links yet, so I just put this on. Apparently it's not that bad to keep your stocks. It just puts a little flex on your sway bars. Height adjustability is available, you know, after installation, obviously, into the strut tower. Quick note, this was fairly easy, but if you follow the instructions, you put your adjuster up here. It actually, if you just push it in, it actually gets stuck in there. And so just put that there and use a, you know, whatever it is, what amount of force you need and leverage you need to get the spring in there using the original perch. This is put on with the 18mm bolt. Make sure you clean that bolt very well. Use some sort of a thread locker. Bilstein recommends that you don't fully tighten this until you put the car down. That's what I'm going to do as well. The Rogue rear shock mounts actually allow for you to bolt from the bottom, so you don't have to go through your trunk every time. For you, if you're not using these mounts, you're probably going to have to go through the trunk, and that's covered very well on YouTube as well. Good and tight there, and good and tight here. Alright guys, so that concludes our little DIY here. Make sure you check out videos from 50s Kid and Shop Life TV on YouTube for more details on the entire process. I just focused on the shocks and struts assembly really, but it's really straightforward. Follow me on Instagram, Classick with a K at the end, _BMW. Thanks. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks.